it was really scary. I didn't really understand it because I was a lot younger. But my parents were divorced, so it was just like us and my mom, and she just lost her job, and things were very difficult. So she didn't have like a support system to help her, which I feel like a lot of homeless people don't really have that support system. So yeah, we just found ourselves for a little while, just like we'd have to go from place to place for a little bit, but we got back up. That's totally fine, but not everyone has that opportunity to get back up.
I grew up on the west side of Columbus and was homeless myself throughout my childhood with my mom. Every year, every 9 months or something, like we would get evicted. So we'd always have slumlords that would let us go by with not paying rent or paying like $100 a week and things like that to skirt by. But we always had that eviction notice. So one thing that is a big issue in Columbus especially, as well as throughout the country and the rest of the world, is affordable housing. Mm-hmm. So even though, there's tons of apartments and stuff going up around the city, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're affordable.
There's a lot of reasons I think people find themselves in homelessness. I would say jobs. They lose their jobs. Some people lose their family. Some people lose just their source of income. Or they have more of a mental disability that they can't be offered a job. So
I don't always think it's on purpose. No one really ever wants to be homeless. I think that people just find themselves in those situations with their, you can't control what happens to you in life sometimes. I think people are thrown into it, or people run away from home, and it's just inevitable that they end up being homeless. Sometimes it's just poverty. You were raised in poverty, and then you grow up and you didn't have the the educational options to get out of that poverty, so you just kind of cycle through it. A lot of people will just see a homeless person and they'll just automatically assume it's for they're homeless because of themselves. So I think that's wrong, and that people should definitely look up, understand homelessness before they jump to conclusions.
There's homelessness throughout the country, but we as Ohio State students are focused on alleviating the homelessness that is in Columbus. And if you ever get a sec, you should explore Columbus and really take a look at the streets, and you'll be able to see that there's homeless people everywhere. And it's a big deal not having some place to live. You want shelter. It gets cold here. Every student knows that. So it's our goal to do everything we can to make those people's situations better. It's cold, it's snowy, it rains a lot. And it's just something to think about when you're walking to class, to your house. You get wet for 30 minutes and you go dry off. But if you're homeless, it's just raining on you, it's snowing on you, you're freezing, and you have nowhere to go. So, it's definitely horrible for them.
Personally, I would think that first of all they need to understand the situation that they're in. So it's really just about taking the first step, accepting help from people, because a lot of people don't want to take, it feels like pity to take help. But as long as you're accepting help, I feel like that's the first step.
They definitely need to be educated on their options first, and then they can't take big steps. They need to take baby steps. If it's just going into places and applying or things like that, knowing about food shelters, things like that. So
homelessness is such a huge problem. One person just can't take it on alone. It involves a team of people who are also passionate about it and willing to give to take care of the problem. I think homelessness could end, but it's just about everyone actually putting in the work and also educating themselves, because a lot of people are just they don't really understand what it's like to be homeless.
Well, obviously the first thing we can do is to donate our time, donate our money, and raise awareness. Those are the big three things. So
I think volunteering or getting involved. So whether you have a love and a passion, you want to go into the field of social services within homelessness, or just educating yourself. So whether that's volunteering and spending your time with an organization.
Habitat has served hundreds of families, people who can't afford housing, people who have some circumstance that causes them homelessness, and they've done everything they can to provide those people with a home. So.